Hi, this is Victor Echo 2 X-Ray Hotel Lima. I'm a ham radio operator from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I enjoy this hobby as much as whenever I have time. And since I'm not an engineer, but I actually learn a lot of aspects of technical aspects of this hobby. And today I would like to show you my understanding of antennas and make one based on that idea. So I hope you'll enjoy this video. Okay, to explain the principle of antennas, it would be best to first discuss the relationship between frequency and antenna length. As you can see, when electricity completes one cycle per second, it is called 1 Hertz. Light and radio waves are both types of electromagnetic waves. The only difference is their frequency and wavelength. That's why the speed of light and the speed of radio waves are the same. Speed of a radio wave, c, is equal to the product of its frequency f and wavelength lambda. This gives us the following formula, which forms the basis for calculating antenna length. For example, when calculating the wavelength of 7 MHz signal, we find that lambda equals 40 meters. Let's take a moment to talk about electric wires we use at home every day. This seems to be an easy approach to explaining how the antenna works. As you know, these wires typically come in pairs. When one carries positive electric current, the other carries negative current. We don't get electrocuted because the wires are covered with insulating materials like rubber or plastic. Also, the reason electric energy doesn't affect us is that the positive current in one wire is cancelled out by negative current in the other, effectively neutralize the energy. If you split this electric wire into two and bend it at a 90-degree angle, you'll see that electricity only flows in one direction. If the length of bent electric wire equals one wavelength lambda, then the electric energy completes one cycle and cancels itself out, even in this configuration. However, if we reduce this wavelength by half, electric energy no longer cancels out and instead radiates into the air. This is how radio waves begins to spread into the air, and this phenomena is what we call an antenna. So most fundamental antenna length is half the wavelength. For example, as we calculated earlier, the wavelength of the 7 MHz is 40 meters. Then the antenna length should be 20 meters long. Now, let us make an actual antenna. So remember, an antenna length is half of the wavelength. Considering the space, let us make a small antenna. One of the most common ham radio band is 2-meter band, which is 144 MHz. According to the formula, we calculate half the wavelength of a 144 MHz frequency. The antenna length should be approximately 1 meter. Since we are making an experimental antenna, I think we should use any cheap and easily available materials, so I decided to use a speaker wire. Okay, I prepare some speaker wire, and we need tools for measuring and cutting, and we need an antenna connector, so I prepare a VNC connector. And we need to measure SWR, so I prepare a NanoVNA. And of course, we need a radio. As you saw earlier, the antenna length for the 2-meter band should be approximately 1 meter. Since we will be using speaker wire, the length around 50 centimeters will work. Once it's folded in half, it becomes 1 meter. So we'll mark a point about 50 centimeters and cut it there. It looks about right. and fold it in half like this gives us the full 1 meter. Now let's split the wire in half up to the mark we made earlier. Okay, up to this point. Measuring roughly, one side is 50 centimeters and the other side is also around about 50 centimeters. I measured the SWR of the antenna using the NanoVNA, and I'm planning to operate at 147 megahertz, and it turns out that SWR value beyond 147 megahertz are nearly 1-to-1 ratio. I put my DIY antenna onto the window with the tape. Now everything is ready. You can transmit and try making contacts. This is VE2XHL. Can anyone hear me?
VE2LEQ, I heard somebody call, but I couldn't get the call sign.
VE2LEQ, this is VE2XHL.
VE2XHL, this is VA2LEQ, I hear you very nicely.
VA2LEQ, thank you very much. I just made a speaker wire antenna, 2-meter antenna. I'm just testing whether it's working or not.
Well, from my end, it's working very well from what I can hear.
VA2LEQ, thank you very much. VE2XHL.
VE2XHL, this is VA2LEQ, pleasure to help and standing by. Over.
I hope you have better understanding of antenna, and I hope you have a chance to make one. I usually make videos in Korean, but I think I will try to make more English videos. Okay folks, have a great day, and this is Victor Echo 2 X-Ray Hotel Lima 73s.